So following that holiday, and once a couple of people had brought up concerns with my dad, I remember my dad coming round and talking to me. And I said, yeah, if this is a possibility that it could be dementia, we need to get her in to see a doctor as soon as possible, because the sooner we find out, the better. At this point, I didn't know that there wasn't a cure. So
Right.
in my mind, I was thinking the sooner we get her into
The
the
sooner we can
doctor,
get it fixed.
the
Yeah.
sooner
Can
we
I
can get
ask,
it
had you
fixed.
had any experience with dementia in general before? So not rare forms, but just Alzheimer's or memory-led dementia?
The only the only experience I had pre my mum was my mum's auntie. Now she wasn't
Right.
a real auntie. She was
Sure.
someone mum's
Yeah.
friend you
Good
call
friend.
auntie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
hmm
And I think I must have only been about 10 or 11. And I
Right.
remember going round to seeing her with my mum. So it's me, my mum, and my mum's auntie. And at this point, she was in a care home now. I'm not
Mhm.
sure what form of dementia she had, but I
Sure.
remember she kept thinking that I was my mum.
Right.
So
hmm
she didn't really know who my mum was, but she thought that I was my mum.
Got you. Yeah.
But being that age, I didn't, and I'd only seen her this one time once she
Mm.
had the dementia, she was in the care home, and that was literally it. The only other touch points I have with dementia, I don't even know if you can call it a touch point, but my mum's mum, so my maternal grandmother,
hmm
she had dementia,
Right.
and she was diagnosed at 65. Sorry, she passed at 65. My
Wow.
mum was diagnosed at 65. So this is now why we're looking at getting my mum genetically tested.
Yeah, I see. Obviously, you're a carer for your mum alongside your dad, and being a carer is sometimes very challenging. And I know for me, people would often ask, "How's dad?" But they didn't ask, "How are you?" or "How's mum?" And I'm wondering if that experience has been the same for you.
Yeah, 100%. Like I know when people ask about my mum, it's coming from a really good place because they care
Yeah.
about my mum and they want to know about her and what's going on with her. But my mum now is mostly non-verbal. So I can't really tell you how my mum's doing. I can go off how I think she's doing,
Sure.
but I can't tell you how she's really doing. I don't know. I wish I did,
Mm.
but I don't.
Yeah.
But I can tell you how I'm feeling. I can tell you how I'm doing, how I'm coping with the situation, but nobody seems to ask that question.
Yeah.
And again, I don't think it comes from a bad place. I just don't think people realise the gravity of being a dementia caregiver.
Absolutely. I remember having some very hard days. I'd be trying to get ready for school, get my brother ready for school, get dad ready, make sure everyone's got their packed lunch because mum's having to work to support us all. Get to school, and dad's not been cooperative that morning. So actually, I'm in a very negative headspace. I'm finding it hard to concentrate. I'm also feeling an incredible amount of guilt because I feel like as carers, we have one bad moment or one, oh, can you just do the buttons up or something, which they can't. And I'm not getting angry with you because I think you're useless. I'm getting frustrated because I miss my dad. And actually that, manifests in a very strange way sometimes. But yeah, I'd often been told by people like, oh, you need to lighten up, Alicia. Like you're in a very negative mood. It's really bringing everyone else down. And it's like, well, I don't really care if everyone else is being brought down by this. I've been down here by myself for a while now. So actually, maybe it would be nice if you could come to my level and see if I'm okay.
Inside, on days, I can feel like I'm crumbling. But
Yeah.
then it's kind of like, well, I'm the caregiver. I'm now the one looking after my mum, so I'm the one that needs to be strong and I'm the one that needs to be positive in this situation, because if I'm not positive, then I'm just going to be miserable constantly.
Yeah.
But then it's a really shitty situation that they're dealing with, so I'm allowed to be miserable at times. It's hard.
It's a horrible
It,
cycle. And on top of that, you're probably most dementia carers and rare dementia carers in particular, you're trying to do your own research as well. Because sure, there are support groups, rare dementia support exists. There are some brilliant groups that you can connect with other people. I know that for FTD, there's brilliant societies as well that focus specifically on that. But at the end of the day, you're still having to go and actively seek out that info. It's not
Mhm.
like someone hands you a guidebook when you get the diagnosis saying, right, here's everything you need to know. From your perspective, then, in a very hypothetical and ideal world now, what do you think would be a good way to kind of start moving towards that right support for not just the caregivers, but for anyone receiving and affected by a rare dementia diagnosis?
Well, I think it would be amazing if at the point of diagnosis you got given some information,
Yeah.
just anything. Because for when we got the diagnosis, it was like, right, you have dementia, your mum has dementia, your wife has dementia.
Mm.
Thanks for coming in. There's the door. Don't let it hit you on the way out. It's like it's such a vicious cycle with everything because there is not enough awareness.
Yeah.
There is just not enough awareness about this disease. It needs to have government backed awareness drives across the
Yeah.
country to put this disease on people's radar.
Yeah, and I'm so tired of hearing that, oh, well, we don't have the funding to do any of that kind of training. Like, there's people like you, people like me out here. You have your podcast, which is free. My YouTube channel is free. There are places to go and learn about this. It just needs more people to kind of switch on and want to learn about it, I think.
Mhm.
Sure, for now, the government's not going to be giving anything out or offering, we'll hire someone in to come and do special training. But that doesn't mean that these care centres, or, in Dad's case, we went to a lot of opticians. It doesn't mean that those groups of people can't do their own research in order
Mhm.
to support people like you and I who are then caring for our loved ones with dementia. Carers seem to be within the dementia kind of area, we all seem to lean on each other so much more than we do health services. Because I think there's always someone who's maybe gone through it, maybe they're a month ahead of you or a month behind you, but we can all always share information in that way.
I think one thing that we could really benefit from is more people knowing that dementia can affect younger people, like FTD, for example. You can get it in your 20s. It's
Yeah.
not reserved for the elderly. And I
Mm.
think if more people knew that, more people would take notice.
And that's not to say, let's scaremonger everyone into like, you need to check now, because obviously it can be hard to spot. But I think even just having these conversations, we've both said, it was pointed out by someone else who had had experience with it. The more people we can kind of share those experiences with, hopefully, the more people can recognize those earlier signs and do something about it sooner rather than later.
Exactly. And like you said, it's not scaremongering. It's like the cancer, the cancer adverts, like looking out for this. The chances are it's probably not cancer, but it's better
Yeah.
to know. It's better to
Yeah.
know the signs and symptoms, etc.
With cancer, it's so talked about. And you've said before, we know what to look for. We're told what to check. So,
Mhm. That's it. Like for me, touch wood, touch all the wood.
yeah.
Cancer has not directly affected me or any of my family or even close friends.
Mm,
Touch. But I know a lot of the signs and symptoms to look out for. I
yeah.
check my breasts at least once a month in the shower.
Mhm.
When I get my smear test letter through, I immediately get booked in every 3 months and go and get that checked out. I
Yeah.
look for changes in the moles on my body. I feel for lumps and bumps. But dementia has affected me. It's affected me massively, but I didn't know the signs and symptoms to look
Yeah.
out for when it came to them, especially rare dementias.
Exactly. And I think just hearing other people's experiences, and for PCA in particular, hearing how many people went to an optician's and actually had that very same first experience before diagnosis, because yeah, you're going to think if it's a visual problem, it might be my eyes. But if more opticians were trained to recognize when there's not a problem with your eyes, but you're still having these symptoms, maybe I can gently nudge you in the direction of going to have some kind of dementia assessment. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just having a greater awareness of those signs so as we can all collectively as a society look out for them.
Yeah, 100%. And I think as well with the initial testing needs to be looked at as well.
Yeah,
Like when we went and had the initial appointment with the doctor and the doctor did a memory test with my mom, she just about passed the test. She just about scraped through to be referred to the memory clinic.
right.
But I was like, if we come in another day where she'd been a little bit more, bit more lucid, she had a bit more cognitive function, she might
Yeah.
have passed that test. It's
So,
terrifying. I'm thinking she's
yeah.
only just passed this memory test, but I was just stood outside. She
Yeah.
couldn't remember what year she were born. She didn't even realise what the doctors were.
Mm.
It it's just so
Yeah.
frustrating.
It is awful. I think what I've taken from our conversation today is that, first of all, dementia looks very, very different. It's not always just, oh, they have a memory problem and it's my old granddad. It could be anyone. It could be your brother, sister, mum, dad, grandparents. It doesn't discriminate. And actually, it seems like what we need more than anything is for people to start paying attention. Thank you so much for joining me on here today, Beth. And please do go and check out Beth's podcast as well and give her a follow on TikTok and Instagram too.
Thank you so much, Cece. It's been wonderful joining you.